Hello, my friend. Pat Boone is here in person, as in person as I can be right now. And I just want to welcome you to something I'm enjoying a whole lot myself. It's with a beautiful young lady named Joanne, and we call it Life Minute. And these are a few minutes of my life I'm sharing now with you.
He's an American treasure, singer, actor, songwriter, and author. And at 89 years young, Pat Boone just released a brand new single called Grits and is gearing up to drop a full-length country project this summer with 25 all-time favorite country classics. He zoomed in remotely earlier this month to tell us all about it and more. This is a Life Minute with the legendary Pat Boone.
Hi, Pat. Wow, you look great. So it's such a pleasure to have you visiting us at Life Minute. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm happy to do it. Of course, they let me talk about my new record all the time and a new book as well. So, of course, I'm going to be talking about it whether I'm on TV or Zoom or not. Anyway,
And happy birthday to you. You just had a birthday.
Yes, and I am so aghast at it. I mean, because 89, that means I have lived 89 years. And that means I'm now embarked on my 90th year. I don't feel like that. I mean, I'm still playing singles tennis, and I swim, and I work out in the gym, and I'm still recording and writing, and got business interests, and get with my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids, 17 great-grandkids.
Wow.
I'm not ready to be a grandfather, but it's just happening. I wasn't ready to be a father.
This shirt is 40 years old. My wife made it for me when there was a lot of, what do they call it? I forget the word for slapping things.
Oh, patches?
Patchwork, yeah.
Yeah.
And on my back is a big glass of milk because I was doing commercials for milk at that time. But this shirt still fits me.
It's fantastic.
40 years ago, she made it for me. And this hat I just was using in the video we did on Grits, which I hope you'll see.
I saw it. It's fantastic. It's
You
great.
saw it.
It's great.
Good.
It's
Good.
very nostalgic. I love it.
And it's fun. I made a prediction that even though I am country, I'm not considered country, but I always watch the CMA Award, Country Music Awards, and I married Red Foley's daughter. He's in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And Shirley, my wife, was and still is. She's in heaven now, but she was always a terrific singer like her dad. And so I've always felt part of what was happening in country music and recording country songs. In fact, that my next album, and could be my last album, is unique. There's never been an album like it. It's 25 million selling country songs, all of which I recorded myself along the way in my albums. I did have a couple of country hits called Texas Woman, and that was responsible for me being on the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Oh, I can't leave my Texas woman.
And then another song called Moody River, which started out as a country hit by Chase Webster.
Moody River, your muddy water took my baby's life.
And I made a record of it. It became a million-selling pop record. So I've had little twinges and touches with the Country Music Academy and country music community, but I've never thought I was really a part of it. So I kept doing the songs. And now we've got an album coming out, 25 million sellers of all of these great songs and sung by one artist. And that makes it unique. It's never happened before.
That's so neat. I didn't realize that.
I have high hopes for it as to maybe get me into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Not just because I married into it, because I sang into it.
That sounds good to me. If there's one thing you haven't done, my goodness.
There's not many things I ever wanted. The only thing I didn't have that I did want very much was a son. I had 4 daughters, but I got 5 great, wonderful grandkids, and then I've got a number of great grandsons. So the sons are coming that I didn't have to raise. I didn't have to support all of them, but I love my girls, and I was a very protective daddy, and I loved them. I wanted them around, and so we lived in the same house. I still live in that house for 67 years now. So I've been very fortunate, so fortunate along the way. I ought to quit talking, let you ask me something.
No, you're doing great. In fact, I was going to ask you, 35 years you were married.
No,
was it more?
Oh yeah, it was 67 years married. We're still married.
7. Where did I get 35 from?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're still at 67 and counting because we're still married. We still celebrate our marriage. My daughters and I, we celebrate their mama's birthday because it's just the fact she's living in heaven now and she's waiting for me. She's living in a mansion, as Jesus said, in my Father's house are many mansions. And Shirley's already inhabiting one and getting it all spruced up for me.
Absolutely.
But we're married and we always will be.
Aww. What do you attribute that to?
You know, it's a really good question because so many otherwise good marriages don't seem to last. But when we married, we were 19 and we made our vows to God as well as to each other. And we took both vows very seriously. So when my career took off, I was still in college, first at North Texas State. And then I finished at Columbia University, and my career had just happened. It just fell on me. And then that led to a recording contract, and my first record was a million-selling hit. It was all incredible, but as it was happening, I was already married, having babies. We had 4 little daughters at age 23, born separately.
Wow.
And yet the career, the records, the movies, and the television all happening at the same time. I've lived an incredibly busy life. It's never let up. There's always more to do every day than I can get done. People say that keeping busy keeps you young. As long as I don't get too upset about it, I always feel at the end of every day, I didn't get enough done.
That's the secret then, I guess.
Yeah, and of course the covenant we made with each other and with God, because you're in the entertainment business, it's very tough to keep any kind of a marriage together.
Yeah.
But we were in church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday nights.
Wow.
I said, we're going to live by Tennessee standards. We may be geographically in California, even in Hollywood, but we're going to live like we were in Nashville. And I tell you, I had many acquaintances, fond acquaintances in the entertainment business, made movies with some of them, but I didn't have close friends in the entertainment business. All my close friends and most of my daughter's friends were church people. And just neighbors and friends and family, but I was not moving in those inner circles in the entertainment world. And I knew I was not missing anything. That people knew I was a church-going guy, so I didn't have to make any excuses about that. I was a Christian. I was married, having a child a year, so I was productive and maybe more than normal. But now I was a teen idol, and the kids were coming at me wanting my autographs and screaming and hollering, and I was having rock and roll records. And sometimes Shirley was right there with me. My daughters were too young to be with me, but when Elvis came to see me one afternoon, as he did often on a Sunday, the kids and I were in the pool, and he just walked in. We didn't have a gate at that time until Debbie had her big record, and then I put a gate up out front. But, he came in the backyard and the girls jumped up and ran over and started hopping up on him and hugging him. He says, and I said, girls, stop that. You're getting him all wet. And he said, leave him alone, man. I like it. Because that's why he was there. I could tell he was wanting that in his life.
Yeah.
Which he never really got. Priscilla, when we got to know each other better, and she came to Bible studies in our home that we had for a while for entertainers that were not going to church anywhere, but would come and be interested in a Bible teacher in a non-advertised environment. If they were embarrassed to be there, nobody would know about it. But they came, Jonathan Winters and Doris Day and Glenn Ford. I can talk about them now, they're gone. But they did come, and even Zsa Zsa Gabor and Mickey Cohen, the known gambler gang guy, they came to Bible studies in our home. They were not to be publicized at all. Those times came and went, but they were very family and marriage strengthening things for me and my kids. So when they married and all lived at home until each one was married, even Debbie with her You Light Up My Life, huge record, but also creating her career. But she was still living at home until she got married. And I would drive them to the church to get married, walk down the aisle and turn them over to the husband, and they'd drive away. And then I felt my responsibilities were over, but then I came to the realization, no, they're just starting because they're going to have kids. We're already planning my 90th birthday, and we're going to try to have every child, my daughters, every grandchild, every great-grandchild, and their husbands or wives. I mean, who knows how many people it's going to be.
Amazing.
But we're
God bless you.
And thank you. God bless you. And we'll have lots of grits. I guarantee we'll have plenty of grits there.
Yeah, what's with the grits? I guess you like grits, huh?
Well, I do, and I grew up eating grits and loved it. Cracker Barrel and my mama always made grits.
Grits, grits, bestest food there is. Country caviar, Tennessee foie gras.
I was having a dream. Literally, this is the truth. I dreamed I was having a country hit. Now, I had a couple of country hits, but I wasn't thought of as a country artist. So I was at a party in this dream, and I was singing part of this song, and people were congratulating me. And then, as happens in a dream, the thought will occur, I wonder if this is a dream. And as soon as you think that, you start waking up. And sure enough, it is a dream. And then you start trying to hold, and you don't want it to go away, but it's virtually gone. But I came out of the dream with this one verse: grits, grits, bestest food there is, country caviar, Tennessee foie gras, grits, grits, bestest food there is, keep your fancy food, give me my grits. That much came out of my dream. Well, it wasn't hard to finish writing a song. I mean, fancy stuff, and even verses that we never used, like, and it's a good thing I didn't. Pheasant under glass, no, you can kiss my grits, grits, bestest food there is. And, but we didn't use that verse. But there were other verses about other items of food that are too fancy for good country folks who just want just normal good eating. And in my video of the song, we show a canister of grits like you buy in a store.
Yep.
With my face on it, like it's Pat Boone style grits. And so we got all the entertainers together, Ray Stevens, Laurie Morgan, Deborah Allen, Gatlin Brothers, and Dean Miller, the son of Roger Miller, who gave me the greatest compliment. He says, I can hear my dad writing this song. That it's just been out like 10 days, but it's got 160,000 listens and downloads on Spotify. And because there's a new line dance, and the woman that creates line dances created a grits line dance, and to perform it, you got to be listening to the music. So I think that's one of the reasons that the Spotify thing has jumped up so fast. But the grits line dance is #1 on the line dance chart. I think God's giving me a hit record at 89 about something I really love, which is grit, good food, healthy food, but also to be recognized the way I want to be, as not just a pop star. I'm not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, because I've done over 20 gospel albums. And people don't know this, but I have recorded more songs, separate songs, than any artist in history. Frank Sinatra did 1,500. I love them all. Bing Crosby was my role model. He recorded some 2,000 songs. I've recorded 2,600 songs.
Wow.
3 of them in the last year.
Wow.
One of them a remake of the song Crystal Gale had with Eddie Rabbitt. And so it is a million.
Which one is that?
Oh, Just You and I.
Just You and I. Okay.
Just You and I.
Yeah.
We sang that and then dedicated it to my wife Shirley, who had passed and gone to heaven. Because the last words, we made it, you and I. We made it, you and I. And Crystal was happy to dedicate that to my wife Shirley.
Oh, that's
These
beautiful.
things are still happening and enriching a life that's, I can try, but it's really hard to describe it all.
I can't, it's amazing. And I didn't know you had 3 Hollywood Walk of Fames, 3 stars.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know why that is? Because that was the first time they put them down. I got one for records, one for movies, and one for television. I was part of the 3 original ones. One of them disappeared when they put an underground railway right underneath Hollywood Boulevard, and part of Hollywood Boulevard caved in, and they lost that part of the sidewalks,
Oh, jeez.
which some of the which some of the original stars were. I don't know if they replaced any of the others that may have been lost, but as far as I can tell, they never replaced one of mine.
But when you look back on, 70 years in show business. Do you say
Wow.
wow?
Just thank you, Lord, because I know it fell on me. I didn't seek it. It happened to me. I mean, I had dreams of singing even as a professional, but if you get married at 19, you cannot count on that. And this was God just opening doors for me to walk through. And I'd say, okay, I can do that. Yeah, I'll try that. Okay. And
Is there anything you wish you did differently, or?
I can't think of anything because a happy, wonderful marriage, 4 beautiful children with all 16 healthy grandkids, and now 17 great grandkids, and all the accolades and all the other opportunities I've had along the way. I used to say, when people would ask me that, well, I never had a son. But I realize now God knew what he was doing. I'm not sure that I would have been enough of a father to a son because I would have been gone so much as I was. But surely he kept my presence always as their daddy for my 4 daughters. So we stayed very close. I could be, and still am, daddy to my 4 daughters. Being the daddy and gone a lot and trying to also maintain discipline with a son might not have been good enough.
It's interesting.
So I don't have any regrets. No.
Good.
Don't ask me a question if you don't want a long-winded answer.
I love it.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
I gotta ask you this. How do you perceive the world these days and what's happening in schools and such? And
Well, I could give you a very long-winded answer, but the short of it is I'm deeply, deeply concerned. We always were, we called ourselves one nation under God. It's in our Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. And now over half of America doesn't go to any place of worship, according to Gallup and Barna. So that stabilizing influence, which always was part of how we lived, everybody understood that.
Under God. Under God.
I mean, even non-believers understood why you would talk about God. They wouldn't be offended or left out necessarily. But now there's no mention and no belief. That was also true in entertainment. The reason our movies were so popular all over the world is they presented a picture of the United States of America as the most ideal place in the world in which to grow up and live. Everybody wanted to come here and experience it. Then the entertainment industry began to treat very unworthy topics and to make films that didn't have happy endings. We began to lose all those ballasts. Anyway, that's what ought to be taught and used to be taught. We need to be teaching the same things and the better things. We're letting it slip away, and I have been working on a song with a very accomplished songwriter, and it's just called Where Did America Go? It's a Bob Dylan type song. Where did America go? The land of the brave and the free. Can one generation dissolve a great nation because we can't agree? That's the kind of thing I can imagine Bob Dylan writing. I'm going to finish that song because I also want to offer hope that the Constitution is still the solution. That rhyme.
amazing.
The Constitution is still the solution. We're losing the cohesiveness that made us one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. I hope I live long enough to see it all starting to get better again. It could if enough of us will pray seriously and just get to know each other better. That's another song I wrote, Can't We Get Along?
Can't we get along? If I offer you my hand, will you refuse?
But I'd written the song after Rodney King was beaten. And when he came out of the hospital, still puffy and bruised from the beating he took, but instead of saying something incendiary and inflammatory, he said, can't we get along?
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
I wrote a song, a lovely song, Can't We Get Along? Can't we work it out? Can't we just be friends? If you look right into my eyes, you might see straight into my heart. We don't even give each other serious looks much of the time, much less really try to inquire into each other's lives and existence and empathize and identify with them. But I'm trying to communicate. I did in that song, and it went viral all over the internet, but I couldn't get anybody to put the record out. But now, who's making records and who has a way to play records? It's all on the internet.
Yeah.
The good thing, and I ought to wind this up, but the record people are beginning to start into production of vinyl records again, because there's a growing market for vinyl players and vinyl machines. That's a thrill to me.
Yeah, me too. I have a lot of vinyl.
Our Country Jubilee with the 25 million selling hits all on one record by one artist, which is unique. It's never been done, but it's gonna be vinyl as well.
Excellent.
Hoping that there's gonna be enough vinyl people who will want it to perhaps at least pay for the recording. And I could go back to cylinders, but I won't go back that far. You know what
No, I don't.
you know what the cylinders were?
No.
They would look like toilet paper rolls, but they had music on them somehow, and a machine would play these cylinders. So we were aching always to have the music in ways that we could play and enjoy when we wanted to. But now the industry is taking it away. It's not so much the recording industry as it is the tech information industry. It doesn't have the same life in it.
No, it doesn't.
And I hope to still help perpetuate that with the Country Jubilee record.
I think you will.
But you won't have to wait long. I think September 20th it comes out on vinyl. So you'll be able to get a vinyl record. In fact,
I will.
We'll arrange to send you one. Arrange after our talk today.
Thank you so much. What an honor and a privilege to talk to you.
Thanks for asking and
fantastic.
Let me answer.
To hear more of this interview, visit our podcast, Life Minute TV, on iTunes and all streaming podcast platforms.